Hello, everyone. I had thought yesterday that I would be sprinting by like 4 p.m., and today I woke up and just had zero motivation to do anything. It was one of those kind of days. And that has continued throughout the entire day. And I was talking to Omi, and Omi was having a motivationless day. So I was like, well, maybe after dinner I'll sprint for a few hours. And Omi seemed up for it. So here I am. So we're going to sprint for a few hours tonight. Bugsy is taking a bath, in case anybody was wondering. And Porky is curled up on the pillows. So I do have some kitty helpers. Currently, I just started, like, right before sprints were starting, while I was waiting for it to be time to sprint. I started Campaigns and Curses because I wanted an audiobook. I will say last night before bed, I read some more of this, and I got to page 110 and had to force myself to put it down. But right now, I'm feeling too blah and sleepy to pick that up. So, because I don't have an audiobook, and I wanted something with an audiobook. So I looked to see what books I was getting close to playing Libby Chicken with, and, well, Campaigns and Curses is one of them. And I don't even have a physical or an ebook of this. I only have the audiobook, so I thought that would be nice. Hello, Omi. Doing sprints just for you. Well, for me too, but like, if you hadn't been into sprints, I don't know that I would have. It was one of those kind of days. I needed a little nudge. You have one Fableman book down, 2 to go. I am done with all of my Fableman books. I have a few that I've read for bonus prompts, but I'm not trying real hard with the bonus prompts, to be fair. If they fit what I'm reading, they fit what I'm reading. If they don't, shrug. One is manga, and the other I have 150 pages left. Nice. I have nothing right now. I'm in the middle of, I think, just the 3 books. Let's see. Should just be the 3. Oh, I did finish White Fox in the Forest earlier. So yes, I'm in the middle of 3 books. I started X Marks the Spot, which is here somewhere. I have too many books. Same. Mainly because I'm worried if I don't, I will just sit and doom scroll. And the idiocy that's coming out today is something else. Hello, Mary. How are you doing today? I was just reading about some of the idiocy and listening to a video about it and being like, right. Basically, it's RFK and his insistence that Tylenol has something to do with autism, and saying we don't actually have proof. We're doing studies so we can make proof. And I'm like, make is very different than find. So you're making it sound like you're going to fabricate the proof so that you can say what you want to say, because you can't actually find real facts. And then also, apparently, there are apparently 2 studies, which he didn't cite, so nobody knows who these studies are, that says if you were circumcised early, you're more likely to, or double the chance of being autistic or something like that, probably because you were given Tylenol. So now it's moved from if you were given, if your mother was taking Tylenol when she was pregnant with you, then you increase the odds of your child having autism to, if you take Tylenol, apparently, as a young kid, you can also increase your risk of being autistic. So I did warn my mom to be careful, because who knows, tomorrow the rule might be that you could suddenly become autistic in your 70s if you take too much Tylenol. Who knows? And Mary also needed a quiet reading night with friends. And Omi said hi to Mary. You're good. Happy to be with you guys. I'm glad you got to make it and that I did sprint. I think it's going to be a nice little evening. Like I said, I'm feeling very bleh today. Also, we had our first heat of the season. It hasn't even been hasn't even been 6 full months. It's been like 5.5. Because our heat was still on like June 15th. So I'm going to start to feel really a bit again, because I will be dealing with the ragweed outside, and I don't know. Can you tell that that my sweater was hanging on the rack and they were playing with the strings in my hood? Like, let's see if I can fix that. That's better. So I'll be dealing with fall allergies and winter allergies. I'm thrilled. So that'll be interesting in the next coming like week or so to see how I bounce with that. Yep, their baseless claims are dangerous. They really, really are. They really are. When I was at the dentist, and I was getting my cleaning, the person across the hall was like 7 months pregnant, and I could hear her talking about her fear about taking Tylenol. She was smart enough to at least say that if she had a fever or something and needed to take Tylenol, she would take it, but only just one. Because she apparently realized that, you know, if you need to take Tylenol for something, odds are that that's going to be more dangerous, leaving that running unchecked, and there's nothing else you can take. But I also really hope Tylenol sues the pants off of this administration, because they keep saying Tylenol, like the brand Tylenol, unless they can prove that there is a difference between like something in Tylenol that makes it so that somebody becomes autistic. They're completely ignoring that, like, Tylenol is acetaminophen. Tylenol is a brand name. That would be like saying, you know, specifically Pepsi rots your teeth. You can drink Coke, totally fine. You can drink Sprite, totally fine. You can drink Dr. Pepper, totally fine. It's only Pepsi that rots your teeth, not soda. And I just, yeah, I need to not be looking at any of that. So I'm gonna hang out with you all and read. So that's the plan. I'm gonna listen to my audiobook. I'm fixing my I'll show you real quick. I have this now. Ta-da! Where I keep track of books that I'm interested in any way, shape, or form for whatever reason, and like keep track of whether I've ordered them or not. Because I do a lot of pre-orders, so trying to keep track of all of that is interesting. But I'm like fixing them because you have the like the releases and the releases by month thing over here. And obviously if I were to go like this, it moves that too. So I'm like copying and pasting everything where it's supposed to be by date, because I want it in order by date. So I will be working on that while listening to my audiobook in this first sprint. Hello, Cece. How are you doing today? Yeah, this has felt more like going after a certain company rather than a specific ingredient. Especially considering I love hearing people in countries that are not the United States talk about, oh, how is it pronounced? I don't know how it's pronounced, but they don't call it acetaminophen. It's like PAR something, and I honest to gosh don't know how it's pronounced. But that and acetaminophen are the same thing, and they are derived from a big word that contains roots of the, however you say the British way of saying it, and acetaminophen. And Omi says hello to Cece, as does Mary. And Cece said hi to Omi. I'm not bad. A little unmotivated. So, yeah. Hence the sprints. Thank you. It is from, I think, so I got it from my book tracker, and I've been using my book tracker for years, and I think it was the one that Allie from, was it Hardback Hoarder, created years and years and years ago. And then I just copied it to its own sheet, and I'm now using it to track my pre-orders and books coming out. I can't take credit for this one, although I have thought about putting one together. for releases just in general, whether I want to pre-order them or not, to kind of keep an eye on things like just books I'm interested in. Given that I do the anticipated releases. And I keep meaning to go, not that I want to add more to your plate, Omi, but seeing if you wanted to help me populate it with books that I'm either that even if I'm not interested in are coming out and kind of, helping the bookish community find different various releases that are coming soon. Because mine right now has also like paperbacks. So the hardcover's been out, but the paperback is getting released and I wanted the paperback version. I'm going to assume it's warm where you are, and that is a problem. Believe me, it is not a problem here. We do not need the ACs no more this year. But I'm going to assume where you are that is not good. Yes, that word. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Because I believe it is not pronounced how it looks. So, and I'm very much, when I come across a word I don't know, tend to pronounce it how it looks, but also I know that with the people in like with the British, I have noticed, like, for instance, aluminum and aluminium. So I don't even want to assume that that's not right or is right. I know exactly what they're talking about when they say it, and I can repeat it when they say it, but if I haven't heard it in a while, which I haven't, then yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. Nope, that's Omi. I took the G from Gator and put it in. My brain is working real well tonight. Omi, did you finish Wuthering Heights? The apartment complex gave us a kind of vent. Texas. Not sure how Texas fits with the vent. But hopefully the vent is keeping things a little bit cooler. Because being in the heat is not fun. Paracetamol. Apparently. Paracetamol. Yeah, that and acetaminophen are the same thing. And there's like some really long word that is like where both paracetamol and acetaminophen derive from. Also, I think it probably sounds much nicer in a accent, like a British accent. Yes, I could not think of the word. I could kind of picture it, but I didn't know how it was pronounced, so it makes it harder to picture how it was spelled. You plead the fifth. You really should. You only had 100 pages or something left. Yeah, you should probably get back to that at some point. You thought about Omi when you were cleaning out Libby. Oh, you're in Texas. Gotcha. Yes, I think Texas is still warm. It is not cold like it is up here in New York. I'm dumping a lot of classics. I just don't enjoy them. Classics can be really, really tricky. I've had some I liked and some I didn't. I really liked I've read 3 Daphne du Maurier, and I've really enjoyed those. I like a handful. Like, I've read Agatha Christie, and I don't think I've really like disliked any of the ones I've read by her. I like Anne of Green Gables and Little Women. I've enjoyed both of those, but I'm also very picky. Very picky. That would do it. That definitely, I can tell you that if the One Direction boys had been talking about it, I would know exactly how to say it, and I would probably pronounce it with a British accent. Because years of watching their interviews, I have certain words that every once in a while, I say like not how like I can't pocket like and it sounds more genuine when I just accidentally do it. But every once in a while I'll elongate like a vowel or something that shouldn't be elongated based on my New York accent. But also, my best friend that lives in Connecticut actually and went to school at UConn, and I developed an accent from talking to her on the phone. And this is the only thing we can think of because all of a sudden, after I started talking to her, you can hear it starting to come out as I'm thinking about her. I started saying things like all, talk, sauce. That sound became elongated like that, and I would flip back. Like, let's say she was busy and couldn't talk for a couple of weeks, so we weren't on the phone, and I would say talk, all, whatever, and then she'd call, and I get off the phone, and suddenly there it was again, which I thought was hilarious. Gotcha, Mary. Yeah, some classics are overrated. They definitely are. I don't mind the idea of pointing out that these were important books and have stood the test of time, and they're like got a lot of famous literary tropes, but like also I don't necessarily think they are required reading. I think sometimes the Cliff Notes version is just fine. Have you read Pride and Prejudice? And if so, you might enjoy Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. I thought it was very funny. No, that is definitely one I want to get to. I want to get to that. I've read, is Pride and Prejudice Jane Austen? Because I've read Pride and, yes, okay. I definitely want to read this because I have a retelling of it. And here comes everybody's favorite kitty. Just don't scan. Don't. That's my phone. Right, my phone is plugged in because it's dying. Okay. I do want to read Pride and Prejudice, and I want. Is that? That is Is that Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy? I think there's another one. I'm just drawing a blank on it, honestly. But I think I've read one of Jane. Yeah, I think I read Persuasion, maybe? Maybe? I definitely have read a Jane Austen, I think. And I feel like there's another one that's similar to Jane Austen in style that I want to read. At some point. I want to at least give it a try. Like, I definitely struggle with Dickens. I've read Great Expectations, and it was fine. And I've tried over the years to read like Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer and just did not get anywhere with those. I think those are Dickens. Go Huskies. LOL, sorry, UConn. I always think of the Huskies. Yes, my best friend is a diehard Huskies fan from years of attending UConn. Some classics don't age well. They don't. They really don't. That doesn't mean that they should never be read or banned, in my opinion. I think that some very important discussions can come from reading classics that don't necessarily age well. Like The Secret Garden, there were a lot of things I really liked about the book, but also there's a lot of things that don't age well in that. But I also think you can have a really good discussion about things because of a book like The Secret Garden. Yes, Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy are Pride and Prejudice. I always forget. There's just so many like really popular classics, and I don't care enough to keep them all like sorted in the old memory bank. I did not like Great Expectations. Do like David Copperfield. Haven't tried that one. I've read Great Expectations, and I think I've read A Christmas Carol. I was like, wait a minute, I'm not doing great on being right about who wrote what. So I've read. I think those are the only two I've read by him. Mark Twain. Okay, I was like, I'm saying Charles Dickens, but I don't think that's right. And no, well, I don't think so. I was in a period there where I was trying to read, like older literature. I know I tried, Uncle Tom's Cabin a bunch too. I went through a period there. That was one of them that I kept trying to read. I really, really struggle with the Old English. So like, I feel like Anne and Little Women and the Daphne du Maurier books, they were written in like English that is really like, does not feel necessarily like super antiquated. So yeah, I tend to enjoy those more than the ones where it's like very obvious it was written in a different time period and I have to kind of translate it in my head. That's not as fun. I agree. Can still have good discussions even over books that haven't aged well. And I think it's important, like, to have those discussions, to talk about what about these books is problematic, why they were applicable to the time period they were written in, what are some of the strengths of this book, because most books, I feel like, that haven't necessarily aged well in some ways, that doesn't mean they don't have any strengths or any positives, or you can't see how they have influenced modern books. And I think you can have important discussions about that as well. So I definitely don't have a problem with teaching the classics at all, or trying to read classics, because I think it's important to understand where like current literature came from, because it's constantly evolving. I feel that I have a hard enough time. Me too. And it's my first language. Like, props to anybody who's come here from another country and went, yeah, I'm going to learn that English stuff. It's hard enough as growing up learning it. I loved Rebecca too. It's really good, Omi. It's really good. I've read My Cousin Rachel and Frenchman's Creek. I gave Frenchman's Creek 4.25 stars. This is probably fruitless. Yep. My Cousin. I don't know if it's on here. I still haven't moved everything over from Goodreads. And My Cousin Rachel 4.5. I don't know if Rebecca's on here. I really enjoy Rebecca though. Show. Let me see. Where's Goodreads? I hate using Goodreads. It also takes forever to load on my computer, and has for like an entire year. Like, let's see. 4.5 stars. So I've really enjoyed the stuff I've read by Daphne du Maurier. I struggled to get Goodreads to load, but once it's loaded, it works pretty well. Like with the infinite scroll and stuff. On Storygraph, there's only the option for infinite scroll, and after like 50 or so books, I struggled to get it to load. It doesn't like to load. I have never seen the movie. I didn't even know there was a movie of Rebecca. That's interesting to note. Anywho, I have been rambling for almost 25 minutes, so I'm going to kick off our first sprint so we can actually get some, reading done. And I will see everybody in 30. How'd we do? I am on 24%. And boo. I have some hot chocolate, which is why I'm only on 24%. Ooh, that's good to know. I did really enjoy the movie and have meant to get to the book. I seriously did not know that it was a movie. You saw the movie 100 times and didn't know there was a book. That is interesting. It's always interesting to me to see what has been created, like turned into a movie, and connected with people enough to get adapted. I am bummed because I'm going to see things about Percy Jackson season 2, and I refuse to subscribe to Disney Plus right now because of the stuff with Kimmel. I canceled my subscription. Although in theory, I get it free with my cable subscription, so I was like, does it count if I'm using it via my cable subscription, considering it doesn't cost me anything? Yes, it is one of D4. I have 4 ghosty mugs now. And how are you doing tonight, Nicole? It is very chilly here, and cocoa is needed. Hang on, where's my... See, my 4 ghosty mugs. I got new mugs for Halloween because I happened to see them and felt like buying them. Nicole has said hi to Mary and Omi. I am reading Curses and Campaigns, or Campaigns and Curses. It is the next book in the Weary Dragon Inn series, Campaigns and Curses. Because I do not feel up to physically reading right now. And I don't have an audiobook for the Lone Wolf Cafe, though I'm really, really enjoying this. I'm not feeling up to it. So we're listening to an audiobook, and I picked one of the ones I was playing Libby Chicken with. And Omi has said hi to Nicole. And there are kitties, and they are snoozing in the bed. The Longtail, and the Sir Hiss-a-Lots, and the Shadow. I'm reading Women Talking, Doing Well. We have fall for 2 days. I'm squeezing in hot drinks. That was me slightly like a month or so ago. You worked on your digital coloring page. Nice. I think it's like high 30s, low 40s right now. That's my guess. 37. It is 37 out, and we have a freeze warning. And the hottest temperature we have all week is actually, this goes through the 23rd, is currently on Saturday with a high of 66. Otherwise, my temperatures are pretty much, 50s, 40s, like higher 50s or lower 60s in the 40s at night. And then dipping down into the 30s and the 50s. It's cold. Yeah, I had to get the last of the tomatoes because of the freeze warning. Yep, we now need to keep an eye on our water dishes outside. I need to get like some ping pong balls because I've heard you can put a ping pong ball in the water and it'll move around and it'll make it take longer for it to freeze. And they said that the best thing you can do is have plastic black dishes, and that's exactly what we have. So, because the black will soak in the sun. So that is the current plan. And to put lukewarm water in it in the morning. So yeah, we're trying to make sure the Burbies have plenty of water, and they are all over the place. There was I think 9 or 10 mourning doves on the ground. Split between the 2 feeding, under the feed air pole and our little nook by the driveway. And then there were probably 8 chipmunks eating in those 2 places. And as I was watching them on the ground, it was like, here comes a chickadee, and here comes a nuthatch, and here comes a blue jay, and here comes another nuthatch, and here comes a titmouse, and another titmouse, and a third titmouse, and oh look, the chickadee is back, and oh look, there's a robin. So my bird feeders have been very, very, very active, and I saw our first junco, because we don't get juncos until the winter. They come in when it starts to get cold. That's interesting. I didn't know that is a way to slow freezing. Supposedly, we could also get it like a heater for the bird bath, which I'm still looking into because there's just so many options, and I'm like trying to figure out the best way to do it. But it isn't necessarily needed. So, we're kind of utilizing that. It says like, black attracts the heat. Put it in somewhere where it gets full sun. Lukewarm water takes longer to freeze than cold water or hot, like super hot water. And then, like I said, putting something in it to agitate the water makes it take longer to freeze, which makes sense because think about it. What is more likely to freeze, a still pond or a running river? Yes, we do. I'm so thrilled. You don't even know. I'm so tired of being hot, and I'm so happy that I can wear my comfy sweaters and my beanies and not feel like I'm like broiling. Because there are days when I cannot stand my hair. Like, I just can't. It doesn't work with the gender dysphoria I'm experiencing. I feel like I don't look like how I want to look in my head. So I feel like I look different when I wear a hat. And it's hard because when I wear a hat, I can't wear this when it's 80 out. Also, it'll make filming that easier because I won't have to worry about it being really, really hot. Because that is easily, by far, the worst thing to film when it's hot out. Hello, everyone. You just woke up from a nap. I hope it was a good one. Oh, we have so many. It's so amazing. Omi, I love it. Hi, Sue. Hope you slept well. From Nicole. Mary said hi to Nicole. And Sue said, hi, Nicole. Not really, but I can head to bed early tonight. That's always nice. And Mary has said hi to Sue. Okay, I believe I'm caught up on comments, so I can unpause the timer. I hear you. I'd rather stay in the 60s at this point. 60s aren't bad, but if you give me a choice, I'm going to take cold over hot every day of the week. Anywho, I'm going to go back to reading and drink my cocoa, and I will see you all in half an hour. How'd we do? I got to, oops, 50%. Should take 2 more sprints, and I will have finished another book. And I was also starting to look to see what I had already marked as want to read for next month. I always start there when doing my anticipated releases with looking at what was I already looking at, what did I naturally come across. Let's see. Sue said hi to Mary. Coco and reading so cozy for sure. Hello, Jay. How are you doing tonight? You're back from a meeting. Made some ramen for dinner and updated my reading journal. Listened to Knife by Salman Rushdie for that sprint. Sounds like a very productive one. I listened to And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. Made it to 39%. I loved that book. 27 pages. Good job. You did really well too, Nicole. And Mary said hi to JG. Seems like a very productive sprint. I heard cheering, which makes me wonder if the Dodgers won. Nope. At least not yet. Oh, the playoffs. My teams are not doing well. 13% into my audiobook and continued working on my coloring page. Very productive sprint. What audiobook are you listening to, Omi? I'm trying to focus on things I can actually do as opposed to making a spreadsheet to start adding in books that are coming out next year that I can share with the community, because that's what my brain wanted to do during that sprint. It's your favorite Agatha. I think of the ones I've read, I would agree. I haven't read any Miss Marple. I've only read Poirot and Then There Were None. And Jay said hi to Mary. Oh, we lost a bug at some point. But Shadow and Longtail are still here. In case y'all were wondering, Sir Hiss-a-Lot is Bugsy. Oh, Blitzy must be in the other room. Blitzy likes to sleep here. Or there's like a drawer thing where like I keep my socks and stuff in the hallway. She likes to sleep on top of that. State of Terror by Louise Penny and Hillary Clinton. So far, it's very quick paced. Interesting. Now I'm going to assume. And this feels like a safe assumption that it's like the Hillary Clinton. Yes. Interesting. I mean, I have found most thrillers tend to be quick-paced. At least from my experience. Granted, I don't read them all that often, but I think the ones I have read tend to be quick-paced. It's a buggy. It's a buggy. No, this one. It's a buggy. Oh, no, that's the wrong direction. He's a buggy. I've read everything she's written as Agatha. I haven't read her stuff as Mary Westmacott. She had a pen name? That's new information for me. Yeah, it's weird. She wrote a book with Louise Penny, who I do like as an author. Interesting. Very interesting. Most thrillers are, thankfully. Some start slower than others, but I think this one jumps out at the gates. Good to know. Buggy! No, you don't know your name. Hang on, I think he's going to come say hi. Hang on, let me pause that. Come here. Come here. Say, here I am. Hey. Say, here I am. Look, I handsome bug. Easy, handsome buggy. He's a handsome buggy. He's a good boy. Mostly romance. I struggle. That is hard to picture. Definitely not what I would associate with her. Easy, handsome boy. Handsome bug. I know. They saying hello to you. Omi and Jay are saying hello. They excited to see the bug. Hey, Omi. He's very excited for things. For reasons. Yeah, so you're very excited. Yes. Very, very excited. Aw, you're so excited. Yeah, you is excited. Who's an excited kitty? Is it Buggy? You silly. I kept going one more chapter, not just because the book was good, but because he was sprawled in my lap last night. He is. You're excited to see him. I'm excited to see him too. I'm glad he came over and said hi. That being said, I should probably get back to sprinting. I need to stop procrastinating. That's for sure. So I'm going to pause the timer, and I will see you all in 30. How'd we do? I got to 76%. And this one's decent. One of the better ones in the series, in my opinion. Fed my daughter's 3 cats. Now I'm starting Why Your Cat is Plotting to Kill You for both the buzzword and cover for this month. I have 2 different books. I've been trying to intentionally choose 2 different books so that I can get more books off of my TBR, because one of my rules for Buzzwordathon is, if at all possible, it has to be a book I own. Read 9 pages. It's cute. So it's starting off strong then. I found some interesting books that are coming out in November. I think it's going to be a little harder to narrow down than I thought it was going to be. And I'm not quite done looking for books yet. Made it to 48% and a Libby hold came in. I had one come in today as well. Despite the fact that I have, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books out. So I had 8 books out and then had a hold come in. Plus, I have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 more audiobooks that are out. Well, 3 more books that are out from the library on Hoopla. Another 30 pages is really nicely done there, Nicole. That was a good sprint. I'm going to have to get water in the next sprint. I'm trying to keep my shoulder limber. Oh, it's very hard. Oh, we lost Porky during that sprint. But the star of the show is still here. This is the first time I've done one book, but I have 50 books on my TBR for October right now. And none of them fit. Like, that's the only one that works. That was my thing, is I was like scrambling. Which one was it? I think I was struggling actually for Weapon on the cover. Oh, Bugsy just came back in. It was. Book is going fast. That is always nice. I love a good fast-paced book. My physical read is a fast read. I'm just not feeling up to physically reading tonight. I think when I get done with this, which I should do in the next sprint, I'm going to switch to Death at the Deep Dive. Oh, man, that's rough. That is rough. You get all these books on your TBR, you're like, oh, the Buzzword thing will be fine. I'm sure there's a book. Nope. That is rough. Yeah, it's rough, huh? He's looking at me like, what do you want? See, if you're not going to come over here and cuddle, leave me alone. Sorry, Bugs. It is a I feel sleepy night, so I don't want to go to bed yet. Well, I wouldn't go to bed. The problem is I was nap, and I'm trying really hard not to nap, so I can't curl up with him. I'm sorry. I apologize. I hear your complaint. This thriller is hard to put down. I'm reading along with the audio. I love immersion reading. It's my favorite way to read. If I had it my way, I would always immersion read. You can see the avoiding a nap thing. It's the allergies today. They be bad. And I could have used a little bit more sleep, but I stayed up reading and letting Bugsy get lap time. Okay, I'm going to go finish my book. I will see you all in 30. How did we do? I finished Campaigns and Curses, and I started Death at the Deep Dive, and I got to page 13. And I'm cold. Let's see. Actually, my audiobook Knife has a weapon, but I already put the cat one in my journal. Well, you do technically have it covered with a weapon, if you needed to, for whatever reason. You're only 75 pages in and so much has happened. You're making me want to read this, Omi, and I'm not a big thriller reader. How many more sprints do you think you'll do? After this one? It's getting late. So the next sprint will likely be the last. Not likely, will definitely be the last. You can't do immersion. It sounds good, but doesn't work. I can see that for some people, how that would be hard, but for me, it is the easiest way to make sure I'm focused. Hello, text. How are you doing? And Jay got to 60%, and Sue said hi to text. Let's see. So, Shadow is still here. Miss Sir Hisselot is still here. Longtail came in and curled up, and Whiny Jr. is in here. And they're like, boom, 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 almost all in a row. It's very cute. Yay for finishing. Yes, it's always exciting to finish a book. That's my second one today. And you said hi to Text and Jay. You finished your Halloween Advent chapter of the 31st Trick-or-Treater, and I'm 64% into Soul Survivor by Dean Koontz. Boring. If it's boring, why aren't you DNFing it? 31 pages ending. I'll send me the link. Thank you. I've recently discovered that I like immersion reading. I didn't know about immersion reading, but have found lately it helps me keep my mind focused when it doesn't want to be that. Now, keep in mind, I live with other people who create a lot of noise, so physically reading can be really, really hard because noise. But audiobook reading, it is too easy for my mind to wander a lot of times, so having both helps block out the noise, but keeps my mind focused. You read 15 pages. I'm sitting here sweating. It's still in the 70s. I'm freezing. I'm not complaining. I'm just stating fact. It's grown on you. I do love me some immersion reading. I also think that for me, it is the best way for me to learn a new fantasy world. And I love listening to audiobooks specifically for fantasy because a lot of times people have come up with like maybe their own names, their own words for places or stuff, or they're drawing on cultures or other countries that I don't know. I've never heard of before. So when I come across unfamiliar words like that, it is always really nice to have somebody pronounce them for me. You finished a chapter of the October Voice. Not a bad sprint. Jay said hi to Nicole. You haven't DNF'd it because you want to find out why it was written. I suppose that is fair. I have found that brown noise helps when reading sometimes. I have ambience on right now, which helps, but let's see. My dad was a drummer for years, so he has the hearing loss associated with being in a band and playing on stage. And then on top of that, he has allergies, which causes the wax to build up in his ears, and then he can't hear out of them. So then he turns the TV all the way up because he can't hear the TV. And I can only handle having the ambiance so loud before I start to get annoyed because I have a lot of sensory issues when it comes to noise. And this, while, background noise will grate on me after a while, I want just silence. I very rarely get that. And when it's really bad, that's, I think, why I end up staying up so late, because my dad always goes to bed at midnight, and my mom is usually in bed shortly after that, if not before midnight. So it's quiet. So then I'm up till like 5 a.m. because I've got 5 hours of quiet time all to myself. That makes a lot of sense, Chris. I'd probably be the same. One can only handle hearing so much Fox News in the background before they start to go insane. It is. It is very, very helpful with fantasy because there's just a lot of unfamiliar terms. It can help sometimes with translated books. Like, I know Cornelia Funke's Inkheart. I preferred the audiobooks, at least the first two. I did not like the narrator for the third. I had to read it physically because I didn't like it. But there's something about her books with the way they're translated that I struggle with the flow of them. But having it read to me, somebody's evened out that flow for me already. So I think it can help with translated books. And it can also help like with nonfiction and unfamiliar terms that you've never come across before. So I really like having that kind of stuff in the background. Your dad is hard of hearing from military service. Too much time around weapons before they used hearing protection. That's my dad. He's it's one side and it's whatever side I think like the bass player or something was on. And I can sympathize because I went to a 5 Seconds of Summer show and I was like from amps, like a whole wall of amps. And the next time I went to a concert, my ears started ringing just from the noise of the crowd. So I've damaged this ear from being that close to amps. So not that I'm planning on going to concerts because, you know, germ fears. But if I were to, there's no way you would get me to do it without some sort of ear protection because I am not risking my hearing for a concert. It's just not worth it. Also true. He does a lot, like the audiobook narrator for Robert Jordan does a lot of audiobooks though. So that is also part of it. He's just very good at his job. That definitely helps. Having a good audiobook narrator can really, really make or break a book. YouTube videos with rain or crackling fire also help me with reading sometimes. I almost always have an ambiance going because I cannot handle it. Let me see. I'm going to look up the one I've got on in the background. I honestly have no idea because I don't watch my lives back. I have no idea whether you all can hear that. I'm trying to find. I don't think it could be. I know exactly who I'm on. Like who's at least I thought I did. Where is my what's it called? Let's do I'm sure this is absolutely fascinating. It's the name of it. Why is it not coming up? This is annoying. I feel like I have entered a world in which I'm the only person that can find this video. This is so weird. Okay, well, it is by Autumn Cozy, but I can't seem to find it. Which is really annoying. Really, really annoying. I'll have to keep looking during the next sprint to see if I can find the ambiance because I really, really like it. I like Autumn Cozy in general. I like that too. I wish it was possible for me to take you up on that offer. Your living room looks extremely cozy. I'm assuming that's your living room with like the green couches behind you when you sprint. It just looks so nice and cozy. and like a great place to read. I want to read The Sun in the Void, but I'm waiting for the audiobook from the library. Yep, I've been there. No music, never music. Only ambiance. Like, this has got a bubbling cauldron and maybe some chimes, because it's a witchy coffee shop type thing. See, this is funny. You said yours sounds nice, and then Nicole says, nope, I've never heard your ambiance. Very interesting. And Nicole said hi to Cece. Sue can't hear it. So, yeah, your background noise is kind of drowning it out, I'm sure. You have on my ambiance autumn veranda retreat on right now. Yes. I don't sleep with ambiance music. I sleep with a different ambiance by Autumn Cozy. I like the Cozy Autumn Rabbit Hole one. So cute. There are so many good ambiances out there. Like, I love that we have so many options, because so many of us need that background kind of noise to break up the little bit of silence. And it's really great for sleeping. Ah, gotcha. I don't wear headphones very often because I have very sensitive ears in general. And Cece has said hi to Nicole. Okay. I believe I'm caught up on comments. I will continue to try to find this ambiance so you can see what I'm seeing. I mean, if my paddle wasn't on, actually, I just go like that. Because one of the things it does is it shows my name when my paddle shuts itself off. And I don't really want to dox myself. But that is my ambiance. And it's not giving you the best view because, like, it's green. And it doesn't look green from where I'm at. So I think it's very, very pretty. Oh. So I try to set this down gently and not on anything because, of course, things shifted. You can read to classical music, but it has to be songs I know well. I cannot. I'm jealous of anybody who can read with noise. Yes, my living room. In a dream world, you could all come over and we'd have a silent book club with hot talk. That's the dream, man. Just chilling with other people who want to read, where you all get to hang out, but nobody has to be like super social. And you can even do sprints like this where you have 30 minutes and then afterwards we can all talk about how our book is going. Like, that is the dream. I wish I had something like that in person. Alas, we all kind of live a little far apart for that. Anywho, should get into the final sprint. Let me pull up my caption. I'm still not used to the spoiler alert being ahead of the caption or the final sprint one. So I'm going to unpause the timer so we can get into our final sprint. And then I will see you in 30. How'd we do? I got to page 77. I am really liking this series. It's not like a new favorite because I think I've given them like 3 to 4 stars. Like there's no real standouts except for the first one. But it's a good, solid mystery series. So not bad. Page 77 is not bad. For basically one sprint. Nicole's next week. If only. We could all take turns. Well, I mean, as long as y'all don't mind sitting outside. Definitely don't want to be in my house. Although I do have a couple of kids who live next door who are very, very, very rowdy. Like the other day, the younger of the two was knocking over the bikes and running around away from his mom, kicked over the mums, was kicking the car, dumped the basketball hoop on the ground. Eventually, the cops showed up. I guess the cops were there again the next day. So he's been interesting. You used to fall asleep to Alexa's nighttime sounds. It was crickets and campfires. Then, no warning, it changed to frogs and a monkey in the forest. That is a bit of a jarring change. Very, very different. Those two things. My local indie bookstore does a silent book club. My friends and I love going. It's a fantastic idea. It really, truly is. And CC agrees. Is it awful that I was glad my daughter went to her friends because she works the next 3 days? She hates when I sit down to read. I don't think it's awful. I think it's a balance. Like, I know that you're happy to have your daughter home and that things have been stressful with everything going on with her. So there are definitely reasons why you're glad she's there, but also living with other people can be tricky. And, you know, it's nice to have a break. Believe me, my mom loves when I sprint because I leave her alone. I'm not in and out of the bedroom, and, you know, I'm focused in here. Just a tiny bit. Just a little bit. We're kind of from all over. Though I do hope, because I'm not super, super far away from Omi, that at some point I actually get to meet Omi in person. That would be nice. Also, I found it. This is the ambiance that I have on right now. That would also be nice. We would have teleported out to Phoenix's house to, you know, square up with some people. I mean, not really, but, you know, to have their back. I still have 14 pages to go. Any cat lover would enjoy this book. That is good to know. Always good to have Rex. 71% of Soul Survivor. 3 hours and 39 minutes left, but at 1.8 speed. I have 4 hours and 3 minutes, and I'm listening to it at 4 times speed, so it'll take me about an hour. A little over, like an hour and 1 or something. You got to 71%. Nice. I followed. It happens. I was wondering if Cat Liver meant a bad book. I followed. Seems like text was like, wait, huh? I'm off to bed. I'm exhausted. Night Jay, thank you for joining us. And text said night to Jay. Made it to 148 out of 211. Will finish tomorrow. You did well tonight. Not bad for, you know, only 3.5 hours. And I did a lot of talking on these sprints because I was struggle bussing today. You're reading Tuesdays with Maury at page 64 of 200. Nice. And Omi read 38 pages and said night to Jay. Nicole is headed off to bed. Good night, Nicole. Thank you for joining us. If I sprint tomorrow, I hope I sprint at a time you can join in and say hi. And Tex said night to Nicole. I agree with Chris. I don't think it's awful. Sometimes we need quiet time alone, for sure. Oh, we're good. We're meowing. Like there's going to be another sprint. I forgot to pause the timer. Thanks for sprint tonight, y'all. Night, Nicole. Several nights from Omi and Sue. That is annoying. That is very annoying. Especially if you really want to read the book on your Kindle, or that's the only way you have to read books right now. That would be very, very annoying. And I agree with text. Oh no, Cece, hope you find it. For sure. It has been a day. I actually got some reading done though, so I'm very happy with that. I finished I read basically all of Campaigns and Curses on sprints, and I have read 77 pages of Death at the Deep Dive, which I should finish tonight. Because like I said, it's not going to take me long. And I have definitely updated my spreadsheets and stuff during that sprint, so I'm good there. We'll see. I'm hoping I can find the gumption to sprint tomorrow. I just feel like I get more done when I'm on here with you all. And I have so much left I still need to do. So much left. I have readathon stuff that I need to do, though I think I'm very, very close to being good on that. I have editing I need to do. I was just not in the mood for it today. Maybe I will be in a better mood tomorrow. And reading, obviously. So if I sprint tomorrow, I hope to see you all there. You should be able to join tomorrow. That's nice. It's nice knowing that there are other people who will be around. Thanks for the sprints. Have a good night, everyone. Yes. And night, John Boy. Night, Grandpa. Yeah, I watched that show when I was younger. Although that is a very common thing. Like, it seems like a lot of people, even if they never watched the Waltons, know that particular, like, night thing. And LOL, Nicole. Okay. I'm caught up on comments. Thank you all for sprints, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow if I decide to sprint.